Welcome to the Fall 2020 induction ceremony for the Middle Tennessee State University Chapter number 246 of the Honor Society of Phi Kappa Phi. I'm Dr. Maria Bachman, Chapter President and Professor of English. While the chapter officers are disappointed that we are not able to hold this ceremony in person to welcome you into the society, we hope that this virtual ceremony will enable you to share the occasion with family and friends, both near and far. Indeed, though this virtual format may be a break from tradition, our purpose here has not changed, and that is to recognize your tremendous academic achievements and to show our appreciation to some of our outstanding faculty and staff who have helped you along the way. To begin, I'd like to extend special thanks to our provost, Dr. Mark Burns, and to our academic deans, all who have continued to provide much support to our chapter. I would also like to recognize and thank my fellow Phi Kappa Phi chapter officers, Dr. Jason Martin, President-elect, Dr. Philip Phillips, immediate past President, Dean John Vile, our Treasurer and Scholarships and Awards Officer, Ms. Sandra Campbell, our Chapter Coordinator, Ms. Jenna Logue, Secretary, and our exceptional Student Vice Presidents, Jasmine Laurel, Beatrice Dedicatoria, Cody Manis, Molly Scott, Nathan Wall, and Morgan Campbell. And on behalf of MTSU's chapter of Phi Kappa Phi, I'd like to offer a special welcome to family, guests, and parents who are watching as we celebrate academic excellence and the love of learning. To our new members, we want you to know of just how proud we are of the work, dedication, and talent that you have invested in your academic success and in Middle Tennessee State University. Congratulations to all of you. By becoming a member of Phi Kappa Phi, you are joining an all-discipline academic honor society with the highest standards on our campus. To be invited, you must first be of sound character. Senior undergraduates must be in the top 10% of their colleges. Juniors must be in the top 7.5% of their colleges. And graduate students must have completed 24 credit hours and be in the top 10% of the College of Graduate Studies. Also eligible are faculty, administrators, professional staff, and alumni who have achieved academic or notable academic distinction. As a member of Phi Kappa Phi, you join a society of diverse and accomplished individuals. Our organization distinguishes itself as being the oldest multidisciplinary honor society in the nation. In over a century since the organization began, its members have excelled in positions of leadership in the White House, the Congress, the Supreme Court of the United States. They have won Nobel Prizes, Pulitzer Prizes, and in many other ways have made a positive difference in the world in which they live and work. By being a member of Phi Kappa Phi, you have the opportunity to create valuable connections. You have already begun to cultivate important partnerships through the relationships that you have formed with your MTSU professors, administrators, and staff.
These are the scholars of Phi Kappa Phi. The students who become members of this organization come from all walks of life, and they represent all kinds of majors. A cursory glance at a group of MTSU initiates shows fields of study ranging from civil engineering to exercise sciences. Some of Phi Kappa Phi's most accomplished members include U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, two-time Nobel laureate in chemistry Dr. Linus Pauling, Grammy Award-winning opera star Renee Fleming, Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright Ernest Gaines, astronauts Wendy Lawrence and Bernard Harris, jazz legend Ellis Marsalis, and former President Jimmy Carter. But neither they nor the members of our chapter could have achieved their goals without the help and support of caring, dedicated mentors. The students cherish them and acknowledge them at each initiation ceremony.
These outstanding MTSU faculty members have made sure to cultivate a cohesive and exceptional learning environment for MTSU students like myself. We are lucky to have so many professors and advisors who care and that help us expand our learning opportunities beyond what we could have ever anticipated.
This continuing emphasis on learning produces scholars like Jacob Basham, winner of a Walker and Adelheid Hohenstein Fellow Award for the Southeast region of Phi Kappa Phi, a $5,000 fellowship to pursue a joint MD-PhD program at the University of Tennessee in Memphis.
It's the absolute best pat on the back this university's ever given me. There's no question about that. They've given me a lot, they really have. They've said you've done well many times, and this one really puts the icing on the cake for my senior year, no question.
Of course, it's not just about what happens inside the classroom.
Is that not only does it showcase superior scholarship among students, but it also highlights the commitment to the community as a student.
But it is always about the love of learning.
Love of learning. If you love it, you'll never stop, and it'll always be a part of you. So you're never really learning, you're just constantly gaining. You're becoming better for that. And so love of learning really to me means it's a lifestyle. It's not a choice, and it's not even something that I'm not even sure you can force yourself to do. It's me.
Hello, my name is Mark Burns. I'm the Provost and Chief Academic Officer here at MTSU. I want to congratulate you on being elected to membership in Phi Kappa Phi, which is the most prestigious honorary society on our campus. Phi Kappa Phi honors students for academic achievements across all disciplines, so membership is especially meaningful. I'm a member of Phi Kappa Phi as well as the past president of the MTSU chapter, so I'm especially pleased to welcome you to this chapter. Again, congratulations on your academic achievement and best wishes.
By being initiated into the Honor Society of Phi Kappa Phi today, you're joining a very active chapter of the society. MTSU Chapter 246 has been the recipient of both the Gold and Platinum Circle Award from the National Office. Our chapter has an MTSU website, mtsu.edu/PKP, containing information about our officers and activities, as well as Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube social media platforms managed by our student officers. As a member of Phi Kappa Phi, you are eligible to compete for a wide range of prestigious scholarships. Phi Kappa Phi gives out over $1 million each year to undergraduate and graduate students. There are grants for members and chapters championing literacy initiatives, as well as funding for post-baccalaureate professional development. Our chapter would like to extend special thanks to Laura Clippard, coordinator of the Undergraduate Fellowships Office, for assisting all our students with their applications. For more information about Phi Kappa Phi awards, please visit the national website or visit our Undergraduate Fellowships Office located on the second floor of the Honors College. Students from MTSU Chapter 246 have an impressive record of receiving such national awards as the Phi Kappa Phi Fellowship, the Love of Learning Award, and the Phi Kappa Phi Study Abroad Scholarship. We hope that you'll be interested in becoming active members of our chapter. This year, our student vice presidents created a Phi Kappa Phi Student Council, an organization registered with the MTSU Center for Student Involvement and Leadership. Our student VPs are in the process of developing a socially distanced environmental literacy project. I invite you to join the group on MyMT. For more information about our service projects, contact Nathan Wall, Student VP and Communication Chairperson.
Hi, my name is Morgan Campbell. I'm one of the student vice presidents of Phi Kappa Phi. Phi Kappa Phi has a long tradition dating back to 1897. The history of our organization is included in your certificate. Now, I would like to share with you a description of the primary symbols of the society, which are the badge, the seal, and the ribbon. The badge of the society is a globe with the sun's corona extending behind it in 8 symmetrical configurations. The sun has traditionally been a symbol for the source of truth and knowledge that enlightens the world. Derived from the 8 divisions of general education common in 1900, the 8 equivalent rays represent the equal value of truth in all academic fields. Encompassing the globe is a band with the letters Phi Kappa Phi. This band represents the bond of fellowship that binds all lovers of education in a common purpose. The seal of the society features the badge in its center. The badge is surrounded by a crenellated line that represents the Wall of Troy, a great city produced by ancient technology and celebrated in the epic poetry of Homer and Virgil. Above the crenellation are 3 stars honoring the 3 original chapters. Below the badge is the phrase, founded in 1897. The seal is completed by a line representing the circle of fire that ancient Greeks thought enclosed the whole visible universe. Finally, the ribbon of society is a meander pattern that is common in ancient Greek art, suggesting the enduring values and ideas of learning promoted by Phi Kappa Phi.
As initiates, you will all receive a certificate of membership, an emblem pin, and for the next year, a subscription to the Society's publication, the Phi Kappa Phi Forum magazine. During this time, and for as long as you remain an active member, you will also be eligible for a variety of benefits, including the opportunity to apply for several prestigious scholarships and fellowships. A complete listing of member benefits may be found at phikappaphi.org and will also be included in the certificate packets that will be mailed to you. Once initiated into the Society, you will always be members of Phi Kappa Phi. To be classified as an active member, however, and to continue to receive membership benefits, you must pay your national dues annually. Our membership dues make it possible for the National Office to award scholarships and to provide ongoing opportunities for professional development opportunities. Notably, our chapter has received national recognitions each year for engaging our campus community in a variety of service projects, and we do hope that you will want to be part of those efforts as well. Before we move on to the induction of new student and faculty members, I'd like to explain the significance of the motto of Phi Kappa Phi. The first word of the Phi Kappa Phi motto is philosophia. The Society translates this Greek word as the love of learning. The second word of the motto is kritato. Kritato is a verb meaning to rule. In our motto, the word has the form of a strong exhortation that calls on us to let the love of learning rule. The last word of the motto is photon. This word appears in ancient Greek poetry and drama with the meaning of mortals in contrast to immortal gods. In our motto, the word refers to all human beings, both men and women, so we translate it as the word humanity. Thus, in saying the Phi Kappa Phi motto, philosophia, kritato, photon, you are calling on yourself and others to have your lives ruled by the love of learning. At this time, and wherever you may be, I ask each of you to affirm your membership with the commitment to uphold the motto of Phi Kappa Phi, let the love of learning rule humanity. By virtue of your superior scholarship, supported by your sound character, by virtue of what you have achieved, and who you are, a combination of qualities that led to your election by this chapter of the Society, it is my privilege to declare you members in good standing of the Honor Society of Phi Kappa Phi. Congratulations to all of you. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. John Weil, Dean of the Honors College, who will announce the names of the initiates.
Hello, my name is John Weil, and I'm Dean of the University Honors College and a longtime member of Phi Kappa Phi. We have some special initiates that we want to recognize tonight. Our bylaws allow members of our faculty, administration, or community who have exhibited academic excellence and high ethical standards to be inducted into membership. Tonight we are inducting 2 MTSU faculty members. We're going to begin with Dr. Rebecca King. Dr. King is an associate professor in the Department of Philosophy and Religious Studies and holds a PhD in Religious Studies from the University of Toronto. Her first book, now under contract with New York University Press, outlines the development of progressive Christianity as a variety of Christianity that is simultaneously secular and religious. Her second major project, which has already received funding, explores the synthesis of Judaism, indigenous religions, and Christianity in a movement known as Jewish Affinity Christianity. Dr. King currently serves as Vice President of the North American Association for the Study of Religion. She is also co-chair of the Sociology of Religion Program Unit of the American Academy of Religion and is one of the editors of Critical Research on Religion. Our second initiate is Dr. Daniel Smith. Dr. Smith is the director of the Political Economy Research Institute and associate professor of economics in the Jones College of Business at Middle Tennessee State University. His academic research and policy work uses Austrian and public choice economics to analyze public and private governing institutions. His first book, Money and the Rule of Law, Generality and Predictability in Monetary Institutions, is being co-authored with Peter Betka and Alexander Salter and will be released by Cambridge University Press in July of next year. His research is published in such academic journals as Public Choice, Economics of Governance, and the Quarterly Review of Economics and Finance, as well as in chapters and books published by the Oxford University Press, Rutledge, and Wiley-Blackwell. Dr. Smith has been interviewed on radio and television outlets across the nation and has published op-eds in many newspapers, including the Wall Street Journal, Investors Business Daily, and CNBC.com. He received his PhD in economics from George Mason University. Let me join you in welcoming them to Phi Kappa Phi. We will now introduce our students by college. Because I have not had an opportunity to talk to each student and ask the pronunciation of their name, I'll apologize in advance if I get any of them wrong. So we begin with the College of Basic and Applied Sciences. Our first initiate is James Bellotti. Our second initiate from the same college is Tyler Christian. Our next is Renata De Lucia, Monica Fredesky, Judson McCracken, Glenn Randolph, Andrea Reeder, Terrian Seaton, Jesse Smotherman, Emily Stafford, Sarah Semida, Zachariah Thomas, and Kennedy Wallace. Again, all of these are from the College of Basic and Applied Sciences. We turn next to the College of Behavioral and Health Sciences, beginning with Rachel Alexander, Haura Al-Qadim, Rena Bamerni, Catherine Klaus, Ryan Cornelius, Jordan De Matteo, Kylie Dykegraf, Bailey Griffin, Gabriella Hintz, Sydney Hobbs, Candler Huddleston, Grace Ivy, Morgan Lovelace, Abigail McCarthy, Daisy Munoz, Anna Page, Summer Pritchard, Jana Spada, Gabrielle Thornton, and Aaron Walsh. Again, all from the College of Behavioral and Health Sciences. We go next to the College of Business. Our first initiate is Patrick Blair. Next is Larry Chrisley, Caitlin Gardner, Jeremy Howerton, Robert Metham, Liliana Napier, Corey Stevenson, Cameron Taylor, and Morgan Tenchner. Again, all of these from the College of Business. Next, from the College of Education, Jamie Brunson, Leah Coles, Stephanie Hastings, Julia Hendrickson, Kevin Jacobs, Anthony Peterson, Meredith Toth, Matthew Travis, and Jerica Voiles. All of these from the College of Education. We turn next to our initiates from the College of Liberal Arts, beginning with Carla Barnes and proceeding to Emma Beard, Serenity Calhoun, Jenna Campbell Field, Harlow Crandell, Kelsey Keith, Jonathan Locke, Tiffany Minton, Andrew Modath, Kaylee Payne, Caitlin Prince, Mitch Pryor, Katrina Scott, and Jeremy Smith. All of those from the College of Liberal Arts. Turning next to the College of Media and Entertainment, we begin with Caitlin Abel, Connor Chase, Miranda Renzi, and Dale Shackerford. Again, all from the College of Media and Entertainment. And then finally, turning to the University College, we begin with Tamara Costello, proceed to Sarah Fillers, Kenneth Graver, Shalina Grimm, Miranda Harrell, Aaron Little, Sherry Mayo, Michelle McManus, Michelle Malenson, Sissy Moreau Juarez, Jennifer Murphy, and Kristen Wells. All of these from the University College. Having introduced all the students, by virtue of your superior scholarship, supported by sound character, by virtue of what you have achieved and who you are, a combination of qualities that led to your election by this chapter of the Society, it is now my privilege to declare you to be members in good standing of the Honor Society of Phi Kappa Phi. Congratulations to you all.
I'm honored to recognize a group of people who have helped you reach this place in your academic career, your MTSU faculty and staff. We asked you to name someone who has been most influential in helping you reach your academic goals, and many of you responded. These individuals have guided your research, have given you opportunities to make presentations, taught you to question and to analyze, and to apply what you've learned, and made contacts with employers for you. Perhaps you've gone further than you imagined because these individuals thought you could. We're fortunate to have so many caring and accomplished mentors at MTSU.
Hello, my name is Dr. Philip Phillips, and I'm the Associate Dean of the University Honors College at Middle Tennessee State University, where I'm also the immediate past president of MTSU Chapter 246 of the Honor Society of Phi Kappa Phi. During this, our first ever virtual initiation ceremony for our chapter, it's my distinct pleasure to welcome as our guest speaker, Dr. Daniel H. Sandweiss, who is Professor of Anthropology and Climate Studies at the University of Maine. Dr. Sandweiss earned his bachelor's degree at Yale University and his MA and PhD at Cornell University. As a scholar, he focuses on climate change and its effects on people, particularly in Latin America. Much of his research has been conducted in Peru, where he has studied the prehistory of El Nino. Dr. Sandweiss is a fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science. He is also the current president of the Honor Society of Phi Kappa Phi. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Sandweiss.
Hello, I'm Dan Sandweiss, and I'm the National President of Phi Kappa Phi. I'm also a professor at the University of Maine, where I teach anthropology and climate studies. This is the campus where Phi Kappa Phi was begun in 1897. Thank you for inviting me to speak at your Phi Kappa Phi initiation ceremony. It's a pleasure to be with you at Middle Tennessee State University, at least in this virtual format. I wish I could have been there in person and maybe in a future time. I am deeply honored by your invitation. Please accept my congratulations to each of you for your hard work and sterling accomplishments. To the new inductees, to Phi Kappa Phis who were inducted in years past and continue to support your chapter and the society, and to the officers who volunteer their time and effort to make Phi Kappa Phi work here on your campus. Before I launch into the obligatory words of advice and wisdom, I thought I should tell you something about myself. I'm an archaeologist. For me, it is a vocation, a calling I first heard as an undergraduate more years ago than I care to admit, although when I show you some slides, you'll know about how long ago it was. This is a career that I followed through graduate school, postdoc years, and all the way to the University of Maine. I've been fortunate to travel a lot, mainly Latin America, where I do my research, and to have had many adventures. Here's a sampling of photos from my expeditions. This was my first trip as an undergraduate partway through to Guatemala. And here on that same trip down on the coast where we were actually working with local people and looking for archaeological sites, my first experience in the field and my first working with people from a totally different culture. I also started going to Peru not long after, and I've been doing that ever since. That's my primary research area. It's not always easy. We run into trouble or run over trouble occasionally, but it is a beautiful place. It's also a really interesting place archaeologically, in part because it's a desert, so it is extremely dry and things preserve better than in many other places. We have fun when we're in the field, although we do run into some roadblocks occasionally. Now, I am a late bloomer as far as Phi Kappa Phi is concerned. I attended universities that did not have active chapters, and as an undergraduate, I was only inducted into a far less diverse society, they who shall not be named. Fortunately for me, I ended up at the University of Maine, where Phi Kappa Phi was founded in 1897, as I mentioned at the start. 14 years ago, I began a stint as graduate dean, and my colleagues took pity on me as an honor society orphan. That sounds a bit like a song, maybe the tune of Beauty School Dropout. Anyway, they inducted me into Phi Kappa Phi in 2006. A few years ago, I served as our chapter's president, then became the Northeast Regional Vice President for the Society, as well as a member of the Board of Directors, by default, and let me explain. When I was approached to run for Northeast Regional Vice President, I asked what was involved, and they said, come to the convention in the summer, give a 2-minute speech, there'll be another candidate, there'll be an election, you or the other person will win. I said, well, I'm sorry, I'm going to be in Peru, I can't do that. And they said, oh, no problem, just send a video. I thought, okay, I'm safe, I'll send a video, the other person will give a live speech, they'll elect the other person as I would do, and I would be saved from the service, but would at least have put my name forward. Unfortunately, the other person not only didn't show up, they didn't send a video, I won by default. And in those years, the regional vice presidents had to assign 2 of their number to be members of the board. I wasn't there to protect myself, so I became a member of the board as well. However, through this, I found out how much I appreciate and enjoy serving Phi Kappa Phi, with its motto, let the love of learning rule humanity, to which I would add, to put an old political slogan to better use, now more than ever. And now for the advice. We have heard a lot over the last decade about the economically privileged 1%. If it is your goal in life to join that 1%, I wish you every success and sincerely hope that your MTSU education helps you get there. Today, though, I want to talk to you about life in the 10%, the intellectual top 10%. If you are a past or current inductee in Phi Kappa Phi, you are certainly a member of that elite group of smart people. As an honorary inductee in Phi Kappa Phi, I have empowered myself to give you some advice for life in the smart lane, illustrated from personal experience. First, carpe diem. Since you are smart people, you know that this phrase does not mean eat a trash fish daily, but rather seize the day. Keep in mind that 10% is still a really large number of people. There are more than 310 million people in the US today, so 10% is over 31 million. You have competition. Not all of them have been certified by Phi Kappa Phi, of course, so you have that advantage. Still, as Louis Pasteur famously remarked, fortune favors the prepared mind. Be ready to seize the day, to take advantage of opportunities that arise. I wouldn't be here today if it were not for a combination of lucky coincidence and the ability to make the most out of opportunity. It worked for me, and let me tell you how. I was finishing graduate school in the summer of 1988, and I was on a project in Peru where, unlike most of my trips as a grad student, I was well funded through colleagues who were faculty members through a grant that we'd gotten. So I was staying in decent hotels. I was in a very nice hotel in a city called Chiclayo with a colleague of mine who was helping me out. And we went to the front desk to check out. And in front of us in line was an older gentleman. And the clerk came up to him and said, Dr. Heyerdahl, you have a telegram. Now, this was so long ago that there were no faxes, there was no internet, there was no other way to communicate except for telegrams or telephone calls. So I heard the name and I asked him if he was indeed the Tor Heyerdahl who had sailed the Kon-Tiki raft across the Pacific. You may never have heard of him, but in my generation, he was very famous. We all read the book that he wrote about his Kon-Tiki expedition and many of his other books. So I introduced myself. I told him what I worked on, which was ancient fishermen on the coast of Peru. He said we needed to talk. We did. And to make a very long story short, I ended up getting a job working at a site called Tucumay with him for the next 3 years, paid by Timex Corporation. Someday, if you like, I'll tell you more about that. So there's the site of Tucumay. There's the book that we got out of that. And here's one of the other things that came out of working with Tor Heyerdahl. He had friends everywhere. I ended up going to Cuba several times, and on one occasion, actually meeting with a fellow in green who is Fidel Castro. It was a wonderful experience. Whatever you may think of Castro and his government, he was a truly charismatic individual, and it was quite a remarkable experience to have coffee with him and then to sit around and talk for about an hour. All right, my second lesson is to beware the better that is the enemy of the good. This is a variation on a quotation from the French philosopher Voltaire, published in 1772, but probably reflecting earlier versions. It is natural for smart people to want to get everything right, to keep working until you dot every I and J and cross every T and Z if you write like a European. Okay, that might be a dated reference. I'm not sure how many of you still write anything by hand. Regardless, there is a time for obsessive attention to detail, but there is also a time to fish or cut bait, to continue the ichthyological illusions. Whatever you are doing, there comes a time when it is better to finish up and move on. I began grad school in 1979. By 1985, I had finished my fieldwork and was writing my dissertation. Come about 1988, my dad started quoting his version of Voltaire almost every time we spoke, the one I started with. Fortunately, it took a while to sink in, or I wouldn't have met Tor Heyerdahl. But by 1989, I did actually finish, and I would not be here now if I hadn't. Eventually, I even published my dissertation, which is more fishy business. My third piece of advice: push the envelope and think outside the box. Employ diversity and work interdisciplinarily. There is no problem that is not better solved by working with colleagues who bring different knowledge, skills, and ways of thinking to the issue. It's also way more fun. So I'll show you some of my interdisciplinary teams in Peru. This is one. I always thought this photo looked rather like the cover of a rock album. And here's another, and I would point out that Noel March, who you see on the far right, not only was the US Marshal for the District of Maine for 8 years under Obama, and is now a professor at a sister campus, he is a member of Phi Kappa Phi and a member of the executive committee of my own chapter's board. Remember that Phi Kappa Phi is the largest, most prestigious all-discipline honor society in the United States. Whatever you want to do, you can probably find great colleagues and companions to help you do it among the diverse ranks of Phi Kappa Phi initiates. Fourth point, avoid the arrogance of intelligence. You know you are the 10%, but try not to let that show, that knowledge. You have to live with the other 90% who tend to have their own strengths and talents. Be open. Listen to others regardless of their percentile. Successful leaders know that it doesn't matter where a good idea comes from. If you accept those ideas, you will do better and receive more credit. Don't alienate others by suggesting through word or action that you are superior. Do not, for instance, give talks that use your life to exemplify good advice. Fifth, what I call the bar beer principle. Seek intellectual stimulation wherever you find it. Some years ago, I heard a keynote lecture in Milwaukee by a wise senior archaeologist. She told us that she had discovered through extensive participant observation that most really good ideas in archaeology originated in conversations over beer in bars. 7 years ago, I heard a lecture at our Climate Change Institute at the University of Maine by two young scientists who had recently received their doctorates from us. They had been working together in the high Andes for almost 10 years, and they had made a series of amazing discoveries, including the oldest high-altitude site in the world, a story covered by Reuters, NBC News, and scores of other media outlets. They did all this by working across disciplines. One is an archaeologist, the other a geologist. They began their talk 7 years ago by explaining that the idea for their work came from a conversation they had had over beer in the Star Club at the University Inn and Suites in Orono, where the University of Maine is located. The Star Club is not the most propitious of intellectual centers or even the most popular of hangouts. They thought they might have been the only people who had ever gone there, but it worked for them. I believe that the bar beer principle holds for all fields of endeavor and probably for other beverages as well. Personally, I prefer wine to beer. Of course, if you're under 21, I'm only talking about Coke or Pepsi. The point is much the same as my opening gambit. Seize the fish as the day. So, welcome to the 10%. Live life in the smart lane, but be smart about it. Listen, learn, act wisely, but never arrogantly. Wear your Phi Kappa Phi pin with pride. We are certainly proud of you, and we look forward to your future accomplishments. Stay well.
To our current and newly initiated members, we would like for you to be active members of our chapter and to participate in our fall and spring service events. You can stay updated about our chapter by liking our Facebook page, following us on Instagram, and looking for email updates. You can also find us on MyMT. I'm pleased to announce that we now have an additional council comprised entirely of undergraduate and graduate students. Our goal is to provide even more opportunities for student involvement in the leadership of Phi Kappa Phi. We would like to thank the Honors College for their continuing support and for sponsoring our Phi Kappa Phi chapter. In conclusion, I charge you to be worthy of the Society's motto, let the love of learning rule humanity. I congratulate you and I wish you well.